Hi guys, and welcome to our video on employer-sponsored work visas. This is just a general guide, the first of 3 parts. This is what the situation is at the moment, and then part 2 goes on about the changes that are occurring, and then part 3 is a little bit of information on who it affects. We'll get into it right after this. Okay, let's get straight into it. We're talking about applying directly for an employer-sponsored work visa, okay? And there are 3 types of employer-sponsored work visas. I've put circles up here because each of them have different requirements, but you'll find that some of the requirements overlap. So this is the easiest way that I thought I would present it to you. What I want to do is go over what the business needs first. So the business needs to be registered in Australia. It needs to have a valid Australian business number. And also the business needs to provide you with an employment contract. Sometimes a letter of offer might be good. Also for the 457 and the 186, the business needs to meet a training benchmark. So they need to spend a certain amount of money on training Australians. That can cost a little bit of money. What we'll do is we'll talk about the permanent visas first. You'll need an employment contract which is at least 2 years long and it is full-time. Need to be under 45 years old, and you'll need a level of competent English. There are some exemptions for the age and the English. The English level you need, you'll find that if you're from English-speaking countries or you've studied in an English-speaking countries, then you would generally not need to do this, but you just need to be aware. Let's have a look at the 186 in more detail. And if you have an occupation which is on the medium to long term or the short term list, you can apply for a 186 visa. And you don't necessarily need to have a qualification. You can actually qualify with your experience, but you'll need to undergo a skills assessment. And the skills assessment can be quite complicated, and it is another application process you need to undertake before you apply for your 186. You'll also find that you need at least 3 years experience in your occupation full-time in order to apply for the 186. So if you don't have that full-time experience for 3 years, then you can't apply for this visa. Let's have a look at the regional 187, and as I said, it needs to be located in a regional area. There is no occupation list, unlike the 186. A skill level of 1, 2 or 3, so that's really professionals, managers and trades. You will need a qualification or a certificate, diploma or a degree that's related to the occupation that you're going to be sponsored in, and you need to get an approval from a regional commission. The business needs to submit a business case to a regional commission. You need their approval. The unique things about the 187 is that you don't need experience like the 186 as long as you've got that qualification, and you don't need to do the skills assessment unless you're applying under the occupation of a trade. If we have a look at the 457, you need to be on those occupation lists. In most cases you won't need to undertake a skills assessment, but you get an idea of what's required. The thing is with a 457 is that you need to have an English level which is lower than the permanent visas, but it still needs to be overall above 5 and above 4.5 in each of the bands. And also you'll need to get an employment contract which will provide you with a salary that is at least $53,900 per annum. Okay, so that's what's needed for the 457. So that's really an overview of all of the different types of visas you can apply for, but you have to be aware that this is just a guide. There's licensing and registration that you, the applicant, might need to do. The business might need to advertise in a few publications, things like that. There are other minimum salary requirements. You'll need to do health insurance, as I mentioned. There's age and English and occupation exemptions. If you're a trade, then generally you're going to have to do a skills assessment. There are business exceptions. If the business has an agreement with immigration, generally it's these massive businesses, then you can You don't need to go through a lot of these processes. And hiring businesses as well. They can't employ you just to hire you onto someone else. Hopefully it gives you a good idea of what you might be able to apply for and what you might not be able to apply for. Like on the video, if you have any comments, please put them below and I'll try and answer them. If you need any consultations or any further information, please get in contact with us. This is only part 1. I've actually got part 2. I hope you go and have a look at, because it is outlining the changes that are coming in March 2018. So I hope you enjoyed the video and see you very soon. Okay, bye.